But in the last couple of weeks, I've had, and Hugh's had, we've each had a couple of people say to us, "Oh, you guys are, you're with that cult winery down in South Africa, yeah, Stormhoek. Yeah, we've read about that." And there's this, you know, the first time I heard it, I thought, cult wine, well, okay. Second time, I thought, well, that's okay. There's something bizarre happening here. And then we were Hugh and I were comparing notes, and we thought, well, $10 coal wine, that's sort of, you know, that's a new thing. That hasn't, you know, most people associate cult wines with, you know, $500 bottles that you actually can't buy. And there is this thing that's evolved around Stormhoek online, and it's, you know, the viralness of it and how the word's getting out. That is, you know, that's for in the world of wine something I think very well new, certainly new,
but why shouldn't a cult wine cost $10 as opposed to $5?
Well, it sounds like a good idea to me, but it's just it wasn't really planned that way.
No, I guess it wasn't. No. We weren't really trying to create a cult brand, but I mean, that kind of happened in the country. We have wine, we like to sell it, we like to meet people who like to buy it. And I don't think it's any more complicated than that.
Yeah. The fact is that for most wines, there's this very sanitized, carefully crafted view of the world that they try to put out in the market. And I think people are getting to the point where they just don't buy it anymore. You know, it's a little bit too 80s. It's a bit, you know, that's not what life really is about. Life isn't this perfectly sanitized, beautiful vineyard. Because they know in the background that, you know, the winemaker's going on strike. They can't get the labor. They get the labor bussed in from Juarez or Tijuana for the, you know, to pick the grapes. And, you know, God knows what's happening elsewhere. And that's not real life. You know, real life is about, you know, the stuff you got to do every day to make something real and make something special. And being in the tip of Africa, you know, 8,000 miles away from New York, you know, there's an amazing lifestyle, and it's really it's a beautiful place, but it's very, very, very remote. So, you know, so one of the things that we've looked at is, you know, how to communicate with the world from a place that is possibly the most remote wine producing area, you know, on the face of the earth. And so about a year ago, 10 months ago, we started a blog.
A blog is basically a website you can build yourself very easily and very cheaply. And it allows you to update it daily in a kind of chronological order, so it takes the form of an online diary. It's not just about you reading a blog or somebody else writing a blog. It's everyone's reading and writing. It's a two-way thing. People are writing them and reading them. It's not just you're either in the audience or on the stage. An old-fashioned website, which my metaphor is a storefront. It's just a thing that sits there looking pretty to grab your attention in the hope that you'll knock on the door and give them a phone call. Blogs are not particularly pretty things, but they're much more engaging conversationally. And so it's not like you go to a website and say, oh, I like that, I'll click on the buy button. It's more like, oh, this guy's got something to say, I think I'll read it. And then you'll go back the next day and go, oh, well, he has something more to say, I kind of like that too. And you start feeling like you have a relationship, an ongoing rapport that evolves right in front of you over time. A work in progress, as opposed to a finished object that hangs out there in cyberspace hoping to get your hard-earned dollars. As a form of connection, it's a lot more human. Because if I went up to you at a party, and my first word to you will probably say, hey, what about the football game yesterday? Or, hey, what nice weather? Or, hey, what do you think of these peanuts? You want some peanuts? That's how you actually talk to people. You don't go up to people and the first word you say is, my name's Hugh MacLeod and I'm an advertising marketing consultant. I've got your total advertising solution. Because if you did that to people, they'd punch you in the face. Or they'd probably, you know,
walk away.
Yeah. They'd walk away. And the thing is, the way traditional marketing works is unhuman. The thing is about traditional marketing messages is they're totally psychotic. How traditional marketing talks to people is not how people talk to each other.
Kind of like people disparage small talk, but small talk is actually how we start relationships and conversations.
Yes.
We don't start, as you say, with a grand, well, you know, here's my sexual history, do you want to go to bed with me?
Yes.
Although that would be an interesting chat-up line.
Yeah.
It starts with, hi.
I've tried it. Don't recommend it.
It starts with small talk, and it kind of fits with what we were talking about earlier, that you make smallish offers to people, and you throw out half ideas and say, well, what do you think of this? Well, can we try this? Would you like to have, try this dinner idea that we've got? But we all know the salesman who comes in and says, so, what did you think of the football last night? And you know that you're getting the 7.3 minutes of pre-prepared, apparently small talk before they launch into their sales pitch.
Spiel.
Although we couldn't draw up rules to say, I think we can smell when people are being inauthentic. And one of the things that I think about blogging is, I don't think you can sustain an engaging and interesting blog by being very fake. Of course, if the wine will muck, none of these initiatives would work. The wine has to be good.
The way things are today, if your wine isn't exceptional at its price point, you're dead meat. And part of what our ethos is about, though, is about doing stuff differently. And down in South Africa, one of our greatest challenges has been taking an old-fashioned mindset and overlaying the cutting edge tech in terms of wine production and creating very modern, very fresh, very bright, very fruity styles of wine, which is the opposite of what's traditionally been made down there. And it's been a great challenge for us. It's been an amazing experience because you can go to lots of places and try to have an impact on quality, whether California, or France, or what have you, and depending on your skill set, make some enhancements as to what people do. But you go to a place like South Africa, and you can make a huge difference on quality. The blog is very much a discussion about how we make a difference in South Africa. It's also a discussion about things that we find interesting that have to do with wine, or maybe kind of have to do with wine, and we talk a bit about the business of what it takes to sell it, and which for lots of people is just as interesting as how it's made.